Lootbet, online esports betting. Dota, CSGO, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and many more. Bet on tournament matches or in-game events while viewing them live. Deposit using money, bitcoins, or even skins. Join Lootbet now. Use the code you see here when you deposit and grab your bonus.
Don't know how to build a team from scratch or find good teammates? DreamTeam.gg, the ultimate team building platform. Find and connect with new players, coaches and teams. Manage and monetize your team. Get on fast track to advance from novice to amateur and, if desired, to professional gamer. Join DreamTeam.gg today.
A 16-14 victory for mousesports on the first map, Mirage. Now we move to the pick of SK. Definitely a chance for a comeback for the Brazilians, but obviously they are going to be hard fought. Mousesports are an impressive team, as they've shown us. Where do you expect this to go?
This is a map I see a bit of a clearer favorite going into it. Obviously, it's not like Cobblestone is a map that mousesports necessarily shy away from, but they don't necessarily do too well versus the better teams in the world on the map either. And then we have SK on the other hand, who kind of made Cobblestone their fortress, really, home turf for them in so many ways. As they made their comeuppance towards or made their way towards that #1 spot in the world. So for me, I'm looking at SK as quite heavy favorites actually on a map like Cobble. And I think there's going to be a lot of win conditions that have to come into place if mousesports are going to have a fighting chance.
Yeah, but if we have everyone popping off on all cylinders for the mousesports side, which we did have in the previous map, obviously everyone dropping more than 20 kills, then there's certainly a potential for upset. We can't, blindly sweep this under the rug and say it's definitely SK. But I do agree, they are definitely the favorites for this map.
Obviously, yeah. Well, they have to play it through, right? Like it has to be played out. The game is not decided on paper, as we've seen so many times. Hell, even just in this tournament, just earlier today, we had Tyloo beating Fnatic 2-0.
Expected.
Yeah, obviously. We saw them yesterday. We saw the potential.
Yeah, throwing bombs out of apartments left and right.
Exactly. New meta.
Why wouldn't you think they were going to take Fnatic down?
Yeah.
Even a near win for MVP as well onto VP, taking it to all 3 maps. How many? 2 overtimes?
2 overtimes, yeah. And that very last round of regulation. Yeah. With the 4v2 that MVP manages to lose out on with just some really unfortunate timing. So yeah, no, definitely a lot of interesting results coming through here, and obviously if mousesports were to beat SK on Cobblestone and then as a result make it a 2-0 would be very, very impressive.
it'd be adding to the consistency that this team is lacking at the moment, because they have the limit and the potential to make these grand finals, as we've seen, but it's the consistency of doing so that they can't quite reach, like the SKs, like the Phases, for example, and maybe in the future, like the Cloud9s, definitely a team that's starting to look improved as since the major as well, especially coming into this event. But we are going to be seeing the pistol round in just a second. I think that was SK taking the knife round as well, so they'll get the pick. I'm imagining T-side.
Yeah, that would be surprised if we saw something else. But, you know, to keep in mind, or to kind of build on what you talked about, how mousesports do have a shot at this, we did see SK play Cobble yesterday versus MVP. And obviously that would have been, you know, definitely a more unfavored matchup, I'd say, for MVP than it is for mousesports going against it. Obviously, you'd give mousesports more of a chance to do it. And MVP definitely put a bit of a scare into SK Gaming there, being able to reset them pretty much on every single, after every single round SK picked up, going into that second half with a 10-5 lead, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
something to that effect. And obviously, I think if mousesports can go into the CT half with 10 rounds in the bag, then they're going to feel pretty happy about that. Oh, actually, we do see SK picking that CT side, though.
Yeah, that may have been my mistake. I thought SK cut the knife, but I may have been looking away. mousesports either way. T-side start, utility on Chris J. P250 on Rops again. We saw him decimate Fallen in the window room in the previous pistol round. T-side on Mirage.
But actually, you weren't incorrect. It was actually SK picking up the knife round. So, yeah, they've opted to go for CT.
Interesting. We'll see how this works out. Either way, Fur's already kicked things off. The aggressive player we know. He does open up onto Oscar, so that's a pick down A long. mousesports still about to filter through middle, but if they sneak their way up, they could easily take control up towards this position behind Fur, but we do have Fallen spotting the door, so information can be gained from SK, and Fur isn't at any danger just yet. Unless they start to push their way up long. There is Rops there with a P250 at range, but Sunny just headshot comes in for Fur. Rops does respond, so consistent as ever with this P250, so Mouse will pull it back for one, but it's still a man advantage for SK Gaming.
Yeah, this time the aggression works out better for Fur than what we saw versus MVP. There he got immediately traded. Here he at least gets two first troubles. mousesports already moving out from A-Halls. Fallen already on the side, so he's going to be able to buy some time for rotations to come in, and coldzera does exactly that. Picks up Stico as he tries to cross us over to the bomb site. Now, a really rough spot for the entirety of the mousesports team to be in. Rops does find coldzera to add a second to his tally, but SK never really in any sort of danger of losing that round with the start for got them.
Yeah, pretty easy, at least kick off to the CT side. We question why they picked it as a team known to be so strong on that terrorist half, but it seems to have worked out for the time being. mousesports second round, you can expect the force here with no bomb plant to come in. They will do exactly that. So Deagles, a CZ up on the hands of Sunny. Not too much to play with in terms of utility, just a couple of flashbangs, but it's very common you'll see a fast B play with this kind of round. However, with Deagles, mousesports potentially setting up for the default up towards A. That's going to be Stico and Oscar doing exactly that, while the rest of them hold B-halls for the time being, seeing if SK bring any aggression and try and get in the face of this T side.
Yeah, Sunny using his flash to kind of eke closer towards drop room here. Taco's going to be re-smoking that. So, a bit of a weight on hand for mousesports, and they're already taking a bit of damage. Stico down to 5 HP. Oscar tagged for 33 as well. Right now, it's just a waiting game. And it's oftentimes this is how these rounds play out. If it's not a rush, it's a very standstill round. Just hoping that someone from the CT side is going to go for some aggression, which is not necessarily that easy or that favorable a lot of the time on this map. Here we go. Slowly moving their way out on plateau. I'm going to get picked apart. And only Sunny remains. Has made his way down drop room, but will get caught out by Fallen. When I say caught out, he does win out the duel, but the rest of the SK team knows where the finished players is. He's actually going to be able to pick up Bolts, and once more, we've seen this from Bolts before as well on Mirage, going unnecessarily aggressive here. Does have to pay with his life as well, and that adds a bit more cash in the bank of Sunny, so he should be happy about how that round turned out for him. SK, though, once again, surviving with 3 players, which is kind of the golden rule in these kinds of rounds. Still allows you to build a bit of bank, even though you have to reinvest on 2 players.
Yeah, and the SMG is obviously getting a bit more cash, a bit more buck for your bang, I guess you could say. But mousesports, P250, Deagle, and 3 Glocks. This should be a fairly safe one for SK once again with the rifles and 3 SMGs, and play more MP9s to hold on to as mousesports set up early towards the B-bomb site. Again, with no utility, I say set up, it's very likely they'll just be trying to walk out as they did in the previous one. Very hard to take this B site without utility at times when you're just down on these pistols. Bolt is going to be there, ready and waiting, already boosted into the drop room, taking down Stiko. And I mean, he can afford to face it. He's going to hold passive for the time being, but you know, he can definitely take a fight, try and get another kill. mousesports are unequipped as he is aware. And the rest of his team may be getting a bit aggressive as well to try and support this. coldzera's already pushed up as well. Fallen's going to take control towards middle, so these SMGs are certainly trying to get in the face of mousesports. Oscar is going to be the only man to do damage, and that's with a Glock. But that should be the only kill going the way of mousesports, I think.
Bomb obviously in full control for SK. And you can see how aware they are of the situation as well. They just want those SMGs to farm as much money as possible, and that's why coldzera is the one being sent forward initially, together with Bolts, to pick up some extra cash. And they do get 4 out of the total 5 kills with those weapons. And again, let's see how greedy SK decides to be, if they want to choose to hold on to these SMGs and have a bit of a throwaway round. Seems like that's going to be the case as well. coldzera does upgrade to, or does get a Colt, while Taco takes the reins of that MP9. And Bolts just sticks with his own. Fallen up in hands as well, so he's going to be able to create a lot of havoc towards that A bomb site. Seemingly going very aggressive here to start things off as well, together with Fur and A.
No AWP for the T side either, so mousesports, well, they have the utility. No mollies apart from on Sunny and no AWP. coldzera, he just jumps off tree to plateau and takes down Rops with the help of a flashbang from his teammate. Good way to start things off with a pick of your SK Gaming, and mousesports with only one player down towards long had no response to that pick. Rops doesn't have a teammate to trade it, and SK is just sitting comfortably in a man advantage now as mousesports going to have to look for a pick on another part of the map. Sunny aims towards the drop down as 2 players work their way up long, but if this engagement goes away a fur, that could have been dangerous because that's a 5-on-3, but luckily Oscar gets the better of him. Yeah,
so they bring it back to equal numbers at least. Very well done from SK there, not overstaying their welcome after getting that first frag. We saw that being an issue a couple of times on Mirage on that CT side. Just always wanting to grab that extra frag. Still no need for any rotations as Fallen has kind of cut off the entirety of mid. We'll find Stiko as well as coldzera finds Sunny on the opposite side of the map. And mousesports, Oscar.
That is so unlucky as well, because Fallen's not ready for that push at all. He just goes in front of the Molotov, but he can't quite hit the spray as Fallen crosses back. 1 HP in the molly, and Fallen not even opting to go for the pistol, pulls out the AWP, and that'll be a 4-0 for SK. So mousesports, I mean, playing very individual there, looking for picks on their own, not really going for an execution early on into this half. Obviously, I'm sure they have some up their sleeve.
Yeah, I was about to say the fact that they never really got into a situation where they could set up for any sort of execution, just being picked apart on both sides of the map. And towards the end there, you see the bomb just on their own, on its lonesome, really, towards that B site. While Oscar goes chasing for Fallen. That's not going to net you a whole lot of rounds. This time, SK getting off to a much better start. Just getting the pistol, obviously, is a big improvement from what we saw in Mirage.
That is true. Both of them going to mousesports, and still only a 16-14 win. A win is a win nonetheless, but it was close. So now if SK take pistols, mousesports need to perform even better than they did in their own map pick to try and pull it back to a victory. This is, again, just to clarify for those unaware, this is not going to be an easy game for Mouse on this map.
No, it's definitely going to be a tough task. And we did see them even on the map that I guess, if we were to favor them on any map, it would have been Mirage. They did have their issues actually finding rounds in full buy rounds. And obviously, they're not going to have as many of them either here.
You can see them questioning whether they wanted to burst and go in front of that Molotov or fall back. Not opting to commit with their earlier utility, but they have a couple of flashbangs. However, Taco's hiding at the back of the coop. Not going to be blinded. Neither is coldzera on the pillar. 2 for him. Taco to support from the back as well. coldzera on 4. Not going to happen, actually. Sunny is going to be taken down by Fallen. 3 for coldzera instead. And a 5-0 for SK. Not really much shown in that eco, but now we should have an execution from mousesports. Something interesting, at least, because these defaults they've been running, at least round in the buy round, amounted to pretty much nothing.
Yeah. It's very accurate. Not going to have the economy to get an op in the hands of Oscar either, which is a bit of a shame. And money on the side of SK looking excellent at this point. Double ops coming out, and even with that double op investment, still having enough cash to be able to buy up, even if they were to lose this one. Bolt's still sticking with that MP9, just getting as much out of it as humanly possible, and the pace here getting picked up by mousesports.
Yeah, smokes over the site, and Taco tried to go for the pick with the AWP, but he has to fall back. coldzera now doesn't have support from the Coop like he did in the previous round, so he's already dead to right. Bolts can't get a shot off with the MP9, and mousesports hitting every single kill into this bomb site, completely pushing SK out. There's even Rops in the drop down. He's even found Fallen, so, I mean, mousesports, that's definitely an improvement from their first buy round. Fur is now the last man up, and he's already looking to hold on to this M4. Obviously, SK have money for the future, but there's no real way he can win this round. Just maybe do some damage to the mousesports players exiting up through B long later.
Yeah, just non-stop aggression from mousesports on that end. And as you mentioned, the fact that Taco wanted to set up for that pick with the AWP is just not allowed to get into position with the quick pace from mousesport. Just throws everything out of whack. coldzera just really trying to get out nades as he get caught out from Statue. And that just sets everything out of control for SK Gaming. Not even able to hold on to that AWP that Fallen had as he was getting wrapped around by Robs from drop room.
And I like how reserved mousesports play in terms of the post plant as well. They actually push all 5 players to just sit in the connector and the kind of no man's land where you know that last player isn't going to be. He might hold the outside of you know, B long or, you know, even on the A site, but he's not going to sit in the connector because it's such a dangerous position, because you know mousesports are going to have all your players just moving out of the site together.
Yeah.
So they keep all 5 alive. They move forward with a bit of money as well to fall back on if SK do find this reset. And that's certainly possible because SK have a hell of a lot of cash. Double AWP back in as coldzera and Fallen will pick that up. No AWP setup early on towards Plateau for Taco this time. He just sits close towards the broken wall, and mousesports run the early default to see if they can try and catch any members of SK on the aggression. Talking of which, Fur flashing himself through long, won't find anything.
Here's the hop shot though from Oscar, so probably not going to be too keen on re-peeking that. Just sets himself up in the corner here on top of the hay balls.
Flash towards middle though. Stiko now knows where one of the AWPs are. Towards the door is Fallen. Stiko maybe flashing himself through. This is a big move. He's going to be alone again. He has to get a pick here. Tag down to 4 HP. Will Bolts expect this push through the connector though? Yes, he will. Through the doors. Bolts finds that early frag, and now coldzera can follow up. Dropping the bomb on B. He's naded out of position, but he's still stuck on the stairwell. Molotov comes in, but Rops is blind and he can't get the kill. Taco defends and coldzera follows up. What a perfect play from the SK Gaming side on that B bomb site. 6-1 up, and it's showing.
Yeah. Taco being coldzera's guardian angel in that scenario.
Again.
It's pretty much, you know, dead to rights there for the mousesports player as he moves up behind the wooden boxes on top of Plateau. Gets a bullet to the side of the head from Taco, which saves Gold and allows him to pick up a second frag as well. Here you see those double ops doing a lot of work. Fallen doesn't get the kill onto Stiko, but obviously putting him down to 4 HP through that tree makes the job very easy for Bolts. Cool idea from mousesports.
Double molly though from SK. They want to shut down this early presence from mousesports. Somehow Rops runs right through it, and he's in a great position. Taco might not expect this as well. Flash going up, but yeah, you can see Taco completely blindsided here. Rops knows Taco's likely gone for the peak with that flashbang, so he gets the kill. coldzera spotted and warbanged as well. Needs to be very careful against this AWP. Rops can't afford to wide peek this. Now Bolts as well falling off the angle as Chris J's taking control towards the drop, and coldzera just can't react quick enough. That is SK Gaming once again being executed on B. Mousesports, nice attacks on this site so far. They don't just go for the full crazy rush. It seems to work out quite well.
Yeah, and but I guess the connection between the 2 rounds is the tempo really. Tempo is king so far for this mousesports lineup, and even though they don't fully commit to it, obviously it sets Robs into a perfect position to find that opening frag. And mousesports are really good at actually just jumping on whatever opening they find there. So instead of being hesitant off of that first frag from Stiko, just sending in the remainder of the troops to back him up really does the trick for them. This time though, SK will be able to hold on to 2 weapons as by the looks of it. And one of them is an AWP on Fallen. And they do have enough money here to get buys going around. Taco sitting on 8K for being one of the survivors, sitting on 7.5, so they will have a double op setup available to them if they'd like to do so. Then again, it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. Only Fallen gets that kind of privilege. And still very healthy buy on their end.
Yeah, but it may be their last. You know, I'm looking at this money trying to work it out, but you know, if mousesports find this next round, SK only have $1,900 loss bonus and only one player with actual cash. You know, first sitting on 6,000. I don't. You know, they could force to get the next round, but it really won't be a great buy. Nor will they have a double or maybe one if they want to commit for that. But pistols and the other players. Yeah. Either way, mousesports go back to B once again. Rob's taking control towards the plateau, but this time SK a little bit more aware. They're going to give up all this aggressive plateau control and instead sit it on the tree. coldzera mollied off, smoking the molly. They should expect him to still be here because they know they throw a molly to that position. Sunny going to find the opening kill, and coldzera, he knows he needs to trade, but he's flashed, and Rops will finish off that frag as well. mousesports just taking these kills one by one and still having tradable positions while doing so. SK cordoned out by the smokes, and Fallen trying to get back in. That's a big shot to Oscar. Drops the other AWP player of the T side, but Rops still responding. And mousesports, again, another B execute just going perfectly.
Yeah, again, very fast as well. No hesitation from mousesports. Quite surprised to see Fallen commit so heavily to finding that one pick. I think they would have been far better off by trying to save those 3 weapons. Could have kind of grouped up at one spot of the map. Any mousesports players who wanted to go hunting would have been a severe disadvantage, especially with all the smokes down. So he did have, you know, exit paths really available to him to get out of dodge there. So it gets that 1 kill onto Oscar, and while that is nice, you do drop us off, it's still going to be plenty of opportunities for mousesports to pick that up, and that's just what they've done. You can see Rob's holding on to that for now.
And with that save as well, now the questionable buy can turn into a realistic buy here for SK. You see Furs on 9,000. Taco can just get an M4 with body armor. You know, we could see a buy here certainly from SK, and I imagine we will. Bolt's buying up utility though, and Fur going for the scout, so maybe a bit more reserved.
Yeah.
You know, no qualms against this. It's a safer bet for SK to actually go for a half buy rather than fully commit. They can get some pistols, get some armor, but at the end of the day, they'll be going for that double orb next round, very likely.
Yeah, it's a smarter decision to make long term. I think if they're obviously able to save one more weapon into that round, they're going to fully buy, and well, regardless of that, they're going to keep up the tempo, but Fallen with that scout doing immense damage.
mousesports were always trying to kill their team in the process on that B play. Now they're in a 2-on-3, and while SK still aren't equipped for this one in terms of the weaponry, first flank, aggressive player, but he won't get anything for it, just damage to Sunny. Stiko's got himself in a nice position though, and the bomb's still under control of mousesports for the time being. Taco doesn't need to force anything here. He can just wait on the site for someone to make a move.
Picks up the AK. Doesn't have any idea that Stiko is so far forward though on plateau. He really needs to get just into a corner where he can more or less guarantee himself getting 1 frag and leave Bolts in a potential 1v1, because they have split themselves up. Obviously with Sunny being able to win the duel versus Fur, there is an opening towards that A bomb site, but yeah, Stiko doing his due diligence, finding Taco as well.
What can you even do against that? There's nothing you can do. Taco played that fine, good position, gets the gun, doesn't over-aggress, and Stiko just ruins his day.
It really does. Solo does take quite a bit of damage though, so 46 HP on Stiko. 2 bullets from Bolts, and obviously Sunny at 6. He does have an op though, so only needs to make 1 connection.
Ooh, okay. Bolts hits a shot, and Sunny misses, but does he know where the second player is? No, Stiko, same position on the site, and mousesports, they will fight their way to 4 rounds on this T side, and great money at that as well. That's the only round we've seen them actually lose a lot of players on the mousesports side versus the Force of SK, or the half buy, I guess. But now, good situation for SK, because they've got cash to play with. They went for that eco. They can buy up, and, well, they can put everything into this. AWP on Fallen, rifles on everyone else. We've got mousesports with a couple of SMGs. Are they misreading this?
It seems like I
think
they
they
might be
assumed that
expecting
SK bought, because we saw only rifles, because we saw 2 players. We saw Fallen with the scout, one with the M4, then we saw a gun picked up on Taco. So mousesports thought that was the Force, but it was actually the eco. Doesn't seem to matter for Fur what he has, as the M4 finds 3 kills up on long. mousesports lose all their SMGs.
Yeah, they lose pretty much all their team. And I actually think that is a misread from mousesports, but I'm quite confused as to how they would have imagined that being a full investment from SK. Sure, you get the scout on Fallen, but you have to keep tabs on, you know, what players are saving, who has gotten a lot of money over the course of the eco rounds that SK have won. Just keep in mind, you know, they kept that for an MP9, for instance, on Bolts for God knows how long. coldzera didn't really die during the first couple of rounds, so he was able to save up a ton of cash. So all of that comes into play and allows for SK to have a strong buy.
Well, mousesports not going to be too happy about that, but they've at least got a buy regardless of the outcome of this round. However, we saw them pull themselves out of numerous awkward situations like this on Mirage. They could do it here and now, stop SK from getting anything done, that'd be great, but Oscar finds the opener. Bolt's dead, however, he's tagged in the process, and even with the smoke out towards door, Fallen's on the site. Molotov to stop the cross, Fallen stays strong on the back, and now Oscar going to try and push into the connector. His teammate's up on B, and he's seen the back of Taco. Will Taco? No, he won't. Oscar's found a second entry. coldzera has a great spot to play, but Rops needs to check it. He doesn't. Bomb down, and 20 seconds left. Oscar's got to make a big play, a hero play. As he charges up to long, coldzera's going to hear the footsteps. So SK, they'll hold on to the round, but again, comes down close. You know, mousesports make it costly.
Yeah. That really matters on the long run. Again, we talked about the golden rule of 3 really staying alive on that CT side. I'm just going to dig deep into the economy of SK. Only Taco with any real reserves to speak of. Well, I say that. Buys fully up. He's the one guy who has to go for a kit. So yeah, Bolt's in the end sitting with the most cash on SK's side, 650. It comes down to mousesports being able to kind of salvage that round that quickly. Spiraled out of control with first triple kill.
Talking of quick, again, mousesports quick to be. All 5 players set up early on, but with Molotovs and smokes coming down from SK, it denies any presence from mousesports. The utility very good on this CT side. mousesports auto-sniper on Stiko is going to be a big question mark for me. I'm not sure how purposeful that was, but we'll see.
And that does seem to be a
bit
of wonky bite. We see it more on the CT side, obviously, but well, maybe you can find some success with it. For now, though, coldzera playing from Chicken Coop. Rob's not giving himself up just yet, though.
Drop down taken from mousesports, even with the Molotov. Sunny going to get through to E-Box. Fur's here, but Sunny's found Taco out in the open. Fur's not going to be able to trade. He'll hold the angle, but there's 2 players here, and the flash is perfect. Fur does go down. Stiko follows up with the auto-sniper, getting a kill to Cold, and Fallen a flashy shot to the head of Oscar, but he needs more than that. It's a 1v3. And mousesports already in good post plants. Chris on the stairs, we've got a player wrapping back up long, and 1 man on the site. Fallen, he's definitely going to consider the save here.
No, it's pretty much his only option at this point. There's no way he's winning the round in a 1v3. Doesn't have a defuse kit, doesn't have any needs to actually create some space for himself. And obviously the money completely shattered for SK. But yeah, this B bomb site just being a constant nuisance for SK. Splinting headache that they can't get rid of. And at this point, you kind of have to imagine that mousesports, more or less take a page out of Immortal's playbook whenever they played Cobble, which is, only realizing that there is one bomb site, and that is the one true B bomb site. Because for right now, whenever mousesports have kind of just peered their heads towards A, they've been immediately shut down, whether it's Fur or Fallen being in their way. But that B bomb site constantly garnering them opportunities to get more rounds on the board.
That being said, they haven't really given A much of a chance. The only rounds I can think of other than pistols and ecos is when the one round where Stiko ran up mid and got killed from Fallen, which was unfortunate, or got tagged, and the round where they ran a lot of SMGs up towards A long and they got mowed down from first. So they weren't even well equipped for that fight anyway. So, maybe give B a chance. I guess if B's working, there's no need, and Oscar's aggressive towards Plateau. A classic position with this AWP. 2 players here from the SK side. Flash over. He pushes with it. How does he get that entry? coldzera trades, and Fallen will actually hit a shot, tagging Chris in the process as well. So mousesports, they're up against Eco here, but there's 2 orbs picked up from SK. There's still armor on everyone here. Chris has to make a play, but he's not going to be able to. Stiko's last man alive, and all of a sudden, SK have done it.
I'm really confused as to how mousesports decide to go with the idea of having Oscar being the point man on a potential B rush.
On an anti-eco of all rounds.
Yeah, fair enough, that Fallen is held on to an op, but strength in numbers, obviously. If you're actually going to commit to dropping down Broken Wall, then at least that be an AK, have Oscar be the second man in if that's the case. If you're afraid of the op, then maybe, you get a shot out of Fallen on the first guy dropping wall. And that's going to be enough of an opportunity for Oscar to get the refrag onto Fallen.
Definitely. The AWP is so powerful when you just post up on Plateau and just rain down shots to the site. Chicken coop, statue. You've even got all the way down the highway to electric and drop. There's no reason to drop off Broken Wall when you're the AWP, when you have 4 rifles as support. It's not like they were playing an eco with 4 pistols and AWP, where the AWP needs to go big. They had the weapons for that, so... No, I agree. Definitely questionable. But a gun gifted the way of Stiko this round. For aggressive, not working out. But he is low, and he is the only armored player as well, so he may as well just commit to this.
It's going to be interesting to see whether or not mousesports lets Stico plays point here. Just have him kind of stray off into the wilderness towards A and maybe get a different or an additional pick to what he's already gotten. But it seems like SK are taking measures to it, putting coldzera as the sole defender of that B plat with an AWP handed over to him by Taco.
Haircut for Sunny, maybe?
Yeah.
Just avoids it. What happens when you don't tip your barber? He's going to be very careful now. He is the only man up on this site. So mousesports have rotated that AK, and in the meantime taken drop control. Oscar's there. And coldzera is actually not holding the angle. I don't know if he's exposed from this position. He shouldn't be. No, he's behind the boxes, so it's okay. And Taco's also on the back lines as well, so he can shut down if they split to the connector. But if they come out of drop, this is where problems may come through. Chris J not checking the corner. Taco's there. Oscar tries to respond, but Taco just needs to stay alive and hold this cross. There's the shot from Rops of the AWP, looking for a little bit more. Fallen tries to take the fight, but Taco's going to be the one that wins it. Now it is just Fallen, a 1v2 on Cobble B site. He moves in with the AK. Nade does do damage. Stico is low, and he knows he's still there. There's the shot from Fallen. Now it's just Rops on the plateau with an AWP, the position we said worked so well earlier on. He's going to fall back very passive. So Fallen with a kit could realistically jump on this bomb, and if Rops expects it to be the fake, then maybe Fallen wins it. But Rops posted, ready and waiting. Fallen wrapping around the site. The bomb obviously planted for him. Fallen has a smoke, and that will go right on the bomb. He'll stick it as well. Does Rops expect it? Does he know it to stick? He goes to the smoke shot. It won't connect, and Fallen wins the round. A 1v2 in the smoke. There's nothing Rops can do against that with an AWP.
Well played from Fallen there, and manages to save the round that SK probably should have had full control of. They make the the haircut that you mentioned for Sunny actually forces or draws a rotation over from SK's side. So they play with 2 players on that A bomb site, with only 4 players remaining, leaving B bomb site very thin. And Rob hits a great shot with the deagle onto coldzera as he's peeking towards long. But yeah, that got really hairy for SK and could have very easily been a round lost. mousesports though, they're going to have a bye. Birds in position though. Once again, A not really doing them a whole lot of good.
No, look at this rotate already. SK having 3 players on the site as one drops out through balcony. Fallen going to double down with his, with SK's second kill of the round, and Bolts is already on default. So Mouse, they're up against a huge defense here from SK, even with the smoke in the door. There's 2 men up here, 1 close as well. Oscar runs through the smoke and catches coldzera with his pants down, as now mousesports have an opportunity. But Fur needs to be caught off guard for that to happen. Oscar misses the shot. That's uncharacteristic, but now it's put him in a really awkward position, because SK know exactly where he sits, and his flank is going to be null and void. Sunny's going to have to open things up instead. But Fur, what's this? He just runs with his knife out, not expecting Sunny to be up all the way through danger. And he'll be able to get it back into a 2v2. Oscar back to the door. Taco with his back turned. What are SK doing? They're hunting for frags, and it's not working out. It's now all on Bolts. And mousesports expecting him to be on the A bomb site as well. They'll rotate towards B.
This is just a very confusing round from start to finish here. Obviously, it seems like SK in that situation, knowing that they're aware of the fact that Oscar has made it into connector, but they're probably assuming that he's going to hold off any sort of rotation in towards B, and seeing how Sunny picks off Fur as he tries to wrap around. They're, hoping to cut off the bomb. That's pretty much the big game plan, but instead they get heavily punished for it, and instead, once more, what was looking like a pretty solid round for SK is into a 1v2. Doesn't clear the angle fully either. And Oscar's going to be able to pick up Bolts. So, yeah, mousesports managed to sneak away with 1 round there at the end. Still, though, 6 rounds on the T side. Not exactly optimal. But, well, you can consider that maybe those 2 last rounds should have gone into the hands of SK regardless. Mousesports just have to take what they've been given and work with that.
And with SK being a very dangerous side on the terrorist half of this map, it's not looking great for mousesports. Obviously, if the pistol round goes their way and they can get those anti-codes as a result, we could see them equal up the scoreline to 9-9.
Yep.
So definitely an opportunity for mousesports to still win this game, but it's not as clear-cut as maybe Mirage was at the half. Mousesports with the buy, they've got Rops on the kit with double flash, and SK full armor here.
And no utility whatsoever. So I'm probably going to be banking on firepower and advantage in numbers.
Firepower, something they certainly have as well. Oscar again, unsilenced USP. He takes off the silencer like he did in Mirage. Let's see if it works out. Just to try and spice this one up, he'll fall back to the site. And SK, they get a lot of early map control. With no utility as well, it's going to be difficult to take A because the door is not going to be smoked. So you can see Rops in that position. He can just fire down shots as they walk into the open. SK actually not going to opt to commit to this just yet. They'll hold on to the position. Fallen, they're up close, and Sunny trying to take the frag. Bolt's also just chasing down this damage. Sunny's so low, but Oscar's also here for support. They could play some form of bait because SK will think Oscar here is Sunny if he sticks in that corner, but no. SK walk back towards B with the bomb, and with Stico posted up on the plateau, he'll have a bit of leeway, a bit of time to call for that rotation.
Right now, it seems like SK are kind of undecided as to what they want to do. With how they set up right now, we might be looking at an A split. And down drop they go. mousesports having no idea of what's about to come. Rops gets taken out immediately. Well, one's going to fall on Oscar. He is able to find the first frag. Sunny as well chips in. But within the span of a few seconds, it's almost all down to Sunny alone on that bomb site. We do have a wrap, though, from Stico.
Oh, and he catches cold as well, sitting in the door, watching down lower. So Stico surprisingly getting that frag and even doubling down.
Yeah.
Great round from mousesports, great round from Stico, but I did like what SK were doing. The whole plan there was to show presence up towards A, force mousesports to rotate a player from B towards the A site, so there's a 3-man defense, and therefore, because of that rotation, they give up drop down. It's very common. If you're going to rotate a player to A, you'll fall out of drop, you'll move a B player to a connector, and then that just gives SK drop down for free with no utility, so they can send that 3-man split in.
Yeah. The idea was really good from SK, and with them being able to pick up Rops almost immediately the second they get into connector, you know, you'd expect SK to get more out of it, but Sunny and Oscar just finding enough frags to hold SK back there, making it up to site. That allows for Stico to get into the backs of them. They swing it around, and a much-needed pistol round for mousesports here.
Definitely. So their opportunity to pull this one back in their favor, or at least to a 9-9 here with a force buy from SK. No bomb plant, although we saw them force anyway on Mirage even with the bomb plant.
Yeah.
It's just CZs and a lone deagle on Taco, who's been tagged early. Fur fakes the fall, and Rops not going to be biting, just sitting still in the connector. Oscar going to try and scout shot towards mid. SK just playing with their food, but they will be working their way up long, this time with a little more utility to cut off that door, stop that rotation. mousesports going to be still with only 2 players here, so not a lot of information on the setup of SK, and that's because they're not contesting the plateau. You see Stico's in there, but he's hiding in the corner, so they really don't have any information as to where SK are, but this push will give it away. Molotov down, push up through mid. Taco going to find the opener as Sunny burns down bolts, and Ropsy needs to step up here. He does. Third dead. And now SK, they are going to be really struggling with this one. Their utility is gone. The jig is up. mousesports are already on the flank up through mid from Stico that we saw in the pistol round, and Rops is just rallying down shots. Sunny sitting on the back of the site as well. Fallen's going to have to get that reload, and there we go. mousesports, an 8th round on the board. Nice setup. Was a bit scared at one point without having the rotation, but they make it work.
Yeah, no, definitely was a bit of a chance there for SK to maybe, you know, get the jump on Oscar as he has to swap out from his scout to the P250 once he misses that first shot. But yeah, as you said, bit of a slow approach from SK gives mousesports all the time in the world they need to actually set up a proper defense and a good crossfire. It's going to net them their 8th round, and also, you know, a much-needed economy building session here. Oscar with the aggressive peek, not going to connect his shot though. Only Stico really with an SMG here, so they can't necessarily build up too much money from kills alone, but managing to stay alive is going to be the main goal at hand.
Yeah, no rebuys for the nades, the armor, the kit. Even to some extent the weapon, as cheap as the MP9 is. Oscar trying to look for something in middle. SK again, full Glocks. We really don't expect even a frag out of them at this point. We've got a double setup in door to shut down that mid play. Oscar's going to get tagged down and actually killed by Cold Zero, even with the Glock. But that should be the only casualty. Rops just can fall back and wait for his team to rotate in because he doesn't need to get any more kills being on 4 HP. Cold Zero might find it though, and he does. 2 kills with the Glock already. Even a dink onto Stico will give up the position. So mousesports still secure it, but I mean, that's a round where you should be having 0 casualties. Sloppy from mousesports.
Yeah, Oscar, even though he's spotted out Cold Zero, and Cold Zero's shown that he's willing to repick at 2 instances, still decides to stay outside in the open. Still when there's 2 mousesports players already, you know, keeping tabs on what's going on in A-halls. That leads to his demise as well. Coldzera doing an insane amount of damage for just having a Glock there. Nearly netting himself 3 kills.
Imagine him with an AK.
Yeah.
Well, we won't have to for too much longer. He's got it, as do SK, but 2 kills, limiting somewhat. Rop's going for an early peek towards Plateau with a flashbang, and he'll catch Taco out of position. Smoke will fail, but hey, doesn't matter too much. Just means SK can gain ground on long, but they're not doing so. They're sitting outside of A for the time being.
Just falling towards that B area at all, really. Sitting with a bomb. Waiting for someone from mousesports to potentially be boosted up into drop room. Nobody there to oblige, though. As there are fairly passive setup coming in from mousesports here. Only 2 players towards B, though. We'll have 1 player outside of the drop room. And obviously, Sticko here on B long. He's going to run out of the Molotov. Voice flash, and perfectly timed as he turns around to find Bolt. Is he just going to continue through the smoke here? Might catch falling off guard if he does, and it will.
That's a clever play from Sticko, though.
Really well done. And the position that he wanted to go into initially has pretty much been a spot that I've just dubbed the Sticko corner. When he was playing in Hellraiser, he would literally not play a different position than that cubby. But yeah, you know, still showing that he's able to work his way around it, even when he gets Molotov'd out. It's really well thought out aggression there. Timing the flash dodge perfectly, and also just catching Fallen completely with the constant forward movement.
And obviously, we've only seen 1 buy round from SK on this half, so let's not look into it too early. But this is scary now. Mousesports can take 11 rounds, assuming they take this anti-force or anti-quasi from SK.
Yeah.
And already starting to look really good on this second half as well. You know, SK definitely going to be worried moving forward, even with them not having shown too many on the buys.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And also because of the fact that mousesports have been able to somewhat build up a bit of an economy. Sunny right now is sitting on 9K. I'll make that a little bit extra as he finds bolts as well. So, you know, even if mousesports were to lose this round, they're still going to be able to buy up. And seeing how there's only ZZs on the board for SK, should be a possibility for mousesports to do so. But yeah, Oscar goes down. Sunny nearly finds Coldzera. That nade not going to finish him off either. Down to 4 HP. Fallen just managed to pick up an op here. This could actually be a very dangerous scenario for mousesports all of a sudden.
This is just down to 1v1s here for mousesports. Do they predict the angles? Do they hit their shots? Because they're not really in tradable positions aside from Robson, Sunny in middle. Sticko's just got to get a frag here. First close, and the reload's got to come in, so Burr will hear it. He'll push with that. AK dropped. He can go get that as well, because there's no one here from mousesports. Untradable Sticko. There's now 2 players are left up for the CT side. They've got to force a kill while they know first in the doorway, but that's easier said than done. Burr 2 kills. Rops with the trade, but he's low in the process. And even though Coldzera is 4 HP, that'll be more than enough. SK, they pick up the force buy, not even fully investing as well.
Yeah. Now that was definitely unexpected. Obviously, Oscar gets in to peek towards that window room at just the wrong time, facing 2 CZ players, kind of dropping a shot in between them. But even still, you know, you would expect mousesports to be able to deal with that. I'm actually surprised the fact that they just let Coldzera go as well. Obviously, Sunny tags him up initially, nades him out, then Robs comes on the long rotate from B. And even though he's nowhere to be found in mid, it just kind of gives you a bit of a tell that he has to be towards A-halls. Just kind of give up on him.
Maybe just a bit of a scare that the players were pushing from behind, because obviously they had the A-bomb site, and he didn't want to get up close against a CZ and try and chase down that kill where he could just lose an M4 because of over-aggression. But either way, good round from SK. Let's see if they can continue their success. Already a man down. Fallen's been dropped by Oscar's AWP pick. So mousesports sitting in a good position to start things off, definitely. Double up in play as well. Oscar and Chris J on separate sides of the map. We've got Chris down towards that plateau. There's no more Sticko there. He's in the drop, and so is Fur for that matter. He's gone for the fight. Molotov to hold Sticko out of this position, so Fur can easily take control towards the E-box, but Sticko actually flashing himself instead of Fur.
All a part of the plan. Still 2 players pretty heavily set towards that A-bomb side here from SK. Now from mousesports, they can afford to do this considering they are 1 man up. Still a lot of utility on the side of SK though. They're just waiting for someone from mousesports to peek their head forward. On that side of Chris J, it doesn't seem like anyone is really willing to do so. And even Chris is going to fall back here. SK seem to start their committal towards the B-bomb site.
Wilfer expect this position though from Stiko, because Chris has already started off. This split through drop down needs to come in right now, but Stiko is still holding strong. Fur's not been spotted, he's not pushed out just yet, but there we go. Finally takes down Rops. Great spray from Stiko! Not only does he take down the player on plat, but he also flicks back to coldzera. And mousesports, another round on the board on this CT side. Yes, they had a sloppy anti-eco last time, but they get the reset. SK do still have a bit of money, but do you buy on this?
It's a really tough decision to make, actually. Honestly, well, still you have two players with enough money to buy up. Fallen can even get an AWP in his hands, but outside of that, you'll be rocking ZZs. And the problem is you're not going to have enough money to buy a proper amount of utility. And from what well, obviously mousesports with how these rounds have gone, they're going to be able to fully invest into all kinds of utility. Every Molotov they would have to need to stem off any sort of early aggression. And at that point, it becomes really tough to be SK and figure out how you're going to gain control. But yeah, they're going for it, and this could really be the round that decides the game. If SK were to lose this, where like yeah, they're gonna have a little bit of loss bonus, but if they want to have it up in hands of Fallen, they're gonna have to double eco. Obviously, that's gonna put mousesports so much closer to that final round. Yeah, to close it out. We could potentially be looking at a mousesports 2-0 victory, which I definitely didn't think would be the case.
No, I feel like anyone who thought mousesports was going to win this needed it to go to a third map.
Yeah.
You know, this is impressive so far. And obviously, while it's not over, we've seen SK win these kind of buys. It's still very dangerous. So question marks here for the SK side as they have an AK, an AWP, and 3 pistols. Bit of utility as well. They've actually gone for the Molotovs over the smokes here on a couple of the players as well. So got a plan behind that, I can imagine. These players are in drop down, so perfect position to use the mollies. Bolt spots Sunny in middle, and he'll get the opener. Fallen in time as well, takes down Oscar. Very synchronized as now they try and split through the drop down. Rops grabs 2. Fallen with the AWP comes into the back lines as well, and they get the bomb and get out of there. SK, it looked dangerous for a second with that double kill from Rops, but they're back in control.
And mousesports hesitating a bit to actually get those through 2 players from the B-bomb site through connector. Did have an opportunity to find bolts there. Yeah, SK with a 3v2 after plant situation, and they've gotten solid enough positions here, and they still have utility in the hands of bolts to actually deal with this. So very curious if mousesports are going to opt to go for it, and yeah, it seems like my call is going to be to save here. That's a rough round to give up if you're mousesports. That should have been the round that kind of solidified you, and solidified your lead, and actually allowed you to build up a solid bank. Again, putting SK back on a potential double eco if they were able to, you know, fend them off a bomb plant. Instead, just goes completely haywire. Fallen finding that first frag with bolts.
Well, that's the 2 rounds mousesports have lost on this T side against these kind of force buys from SK or quasis, where they throw in pistols and armor and try and see if they can get these opening kills. Mousesports, they can still buy up here in this position. You can see the money's not too bad, but this will be the last buy. If they don't win this round, SK are back in the lead, and they're back to forcing mousesports to eco, which is a very scary prospect.
It definitely is. You know, that's kind of the terrifying thought, because it doesn't feel like SK have played all too well this game, but they're still sitting at 11-11, and they have the opportunity to put mousesports on the ground from an economics point of view. It just tells you what kind of team they are, really. Such a high caliber that even when it feels like they're off, they're still able to win.
The scoreline doesn't look how this game's felt. I know exactly what you mean. Mousesports been more flashy, but SK, they're still there. And this is SK's opportunity to win the game here and now by taking this round, forcing mousesports to into the eco and trying to bring themselves closer to that third map that is in Inferno. Fallen's in the drop down with an AWP as well, so mousesports have to be very careful here. Stiko back on this plateau position that we know him for. And teammate on the site, only one teammate though, Chris J. Mousesports have actually opted to hold a very passive drop down from the connector. This could be dangerous, seeing as SK have a lot of players coming up through long. Molotov going to be going towards the stairs. Stiko not going to be going for the face here. Reserved as always, but he peeks with a flash while the smoke is down. I'm not sure if SK spotted him peek there. Because if they did, they can easily molly that position, but
I don't think they actually did.
Well,
he's going to move out regardless, though.
Yeah, 30 seconds left, and now SK going for the execution. Taco's found the opener. Fallen's posted onto Chris's position as well, and Rops is the only man from the CT side to even step up, and it's only somewhat because he's dead to Taco too. Bomb dropped. 20 seconds, and SK, they need to get to the site. Oscar doesn't realize he has control over the bomb, so he jumps into the AWP of Fallen. That could have been the round there if Oscar held onto the bomb and stopped them from crossing to the site.
Yeah, even if Oscar just holds that position and doesn't try to get into drop room, that would have given Sunny more time to actually get the full wraparound. He was pretty much like on the corner to make his way onto B plateau, and I think if that happens, then there's a definite chance for mousesports to actually have the retake happen. Instead, Oscar opting to go through drop, gets picked up by Fallen, and that just sends Sunny packing. And saving FAMAS is not necessarily a great feeling, to put it that way. Obviously, he doesn't really have too much of a choice, and as you mentioned, the bank of mousesports is completely depleted. But it is the best case scenario for him at the moment. And SK just somehow, some way, just keep finding rounds.
Yeah, wow. I mean, you say keep finding rounds. That's their third on the T side. You know, they've been slow on the second half, but they're definitely back into the favor now, right? You can't expect them to
throw this away.
I want to say it's true, but I don't want to say it because anything's possible here. We've seen a lot of weird rounds go both teams' way, really, and now SK, you know, back in control, 12-11. mousesports having to eco with this one save. FAMAS. You know, SK should get 13, and there's, of course, mousesports by, so it's anyone's game there, but a 2-round lead for SK on the T side of the second map. This is definitely where they are going to perform best.
Yeah, I guess, but the same token as, you know, SK should be able to pick up this round. mousesports should have been able to hold off that or the, you know, force buy we saw out of SK. But yeah, better start for SK this time around than what mousesports saw. Rob's down already. That's one CZ down. Ooh, Taco. Ooh.
No comment. He gets away as well. No way. I thought they were going to trade that, surely. 7 HP, yes, but an AK in his hands. He needs to get that over to a teammate now. There's no way he should be playing with this gun. He's aware of it, I'm sure, but there's no teammate in sight. Now they come down to the drop down, and he's actually in a position where he has to commit with it because, yeah, Chris J's in the connector, and Stico may as well try and fight this one as SK play slow towards drop. Instead, they wrap Fur back and leave the bomb there alone. Now, this is my only question mark, because, yes, you're going to want to play a splitting through the connector maybe later in the round on this A hit, but it can't be cold because he has the bomb.
Yeah, and it seems like they've kind of realized that fact as well as Cold makes his way towards A. So it's just going to be a gathered hit towards the A bomb side, and there's only one player on the side of mousesports there, and that's Oscar with a deagle. He hasn't heard for, so he's going to get caught off as well. Fortunate timing for him, and that's going to send SK flying up towards that A-bomb side. Rotation's in on time, but no frags to be found, and Stico, only man with a weapon and only man left alive. 7 HP, not going to be the easiest task in the world, and he goes down as well. And SK on 13 rounds. And even now, well, we see Rops has already decided to buy up, but I was about to say, not really a whole lot of money to speak of on the side of mousesports. Obviously, we've seen them wanting to go towards that op on Oscar, not surprisingly. I mean, if you have a player like him, you probably want to get that in his hands as much as possible. Instead, they're going to do a bit of a trade. Stico takes the hit, buys an op for Oscar, and gets mag 7 in return.
But armorless.
Armless, yeah. Well, he has to go into the Stico corner. He's got a smoke, so he can extinguish any sort of Molotov that comes his way. Or, you know, obviously, with that kind of a weapon, there's plenty of actually very useful positions you can use it in on the CT side of Cobble. The only issue is if they hit the bomb site you're not at, because obviously rotating with the Mag 7, that's pretty much a death sentence. But either playing inside a drop room or playing close by Broken Wall can, you know, be extremely destructive to any opponent. Almost regardless if they, you know, use their Molotovs and do their due diligence, Stico has the opportunity to basically extinguish that smoke and still stay put.
I mean, he only needs one kill. That's the thing. With this kind of position and weaponry and armor for Stico, a 1-for-1 is fine. Yeah. But
and even then, I think it kind of puts a bit of a... it puts, you know, I guess the fear of God in you the second you see the first teammate go down to kill. But yeah, the boost coming out from mousesports, that's very aggressive.
Not only have we seen Oscar run out B broken wall with that AWP on the T side, but now we see him running into the T halls, a position that you know is always going to be covered every single round. A dangerous decision to make, and it's going to come back to haunt mousesports because now they're 2 players down. Stico's actually the only man to get a kill, ironically, with that shotgun. Can upgrade, but To be honest, I think if he's going to commit to drop down, he needs the Mag 7, but he swaps it out for an AK, begins his rotation towards A, because that's exactly where SK are. Look at Boltz's position. He's forced all the way up, and still full utility on this man as well. The pressure is on Rops. Stiko may have the cross, but Rops needs to hit some insane kills right now. Stiko does get that kill from the balcony, so the AK picked up has great effect, and he's going to look for a little bit more. coldzera tagging him down, and Stiko... he might be out of this fight just now. Rops definitely is. Shot down from coldzera. Stiko takes a position down on the balcony as well. And yeah, this is so hard to ask of him. He's got a 1v3 and he's just not going to be able to do that. SK 14-11. Big mistake from mousesports to send that drop boost up so aggressively, I think.
Yeah. I guess, it's, you know, to be fair to mousesports, we haven't really seen too much aggression coming out of them. Again, Cobble is an extremely hard map for CTs to actually do anything of use in terms of pushing up.
Yeah.
And outside of, you know, the one push from Stiko in the midst of smokes and Molotovs, there hasn't really been any forward movement from mousesports a whole lot of the time. So maybe hoping that SK wouldn't be expecting it, but not the case. That obviously sends things quite awry. Well, investment just a little bit from mousesports here. ZZs, P250s, Mag 7s. That Oscar, Sunny's going to fall as well. So 2 immediate opening kills for SK. They're going to ramp up the pace as they run up A. They find Rops as well. Well, this is pretty much a hopeless situation, and you could say Chris has kind of already called for a save here. Not really too much to hold on to, in all honesty. But then again, mousesports not really in a scenario where they have too much to work with going into the next round either, considering their money situation.
Yeah, it takes real guts to go for the eco here and give SK 15 and then try to pull a 4-round comeback on the CT side. I mean, that's not easy.
That's not easy, but sometimes you just have to swallow that, you know, you just have to swallow that bitter pill. And that's what they do. I mean, I think it's fairly evident that mousesports need all kinds of utility and weaponry to be able to deal with SK on this T side. They haven't really found much of anything from half buys and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, playing for overtime might be your only hope at this point.
Yeah, and this is kind of what we said, right? You know, mousesports, yes, they're leading, they're doing great, but SKT side Cobble, SK comebacks, you know, it's never off the cards here for this Brazilian roster.
Seemingly, like, no matter how you put it or what kind of scenario or situation you put SK in, it feels like you can always find a reasonable explanation as to why they're going to come back and win.
Yeah.
That's
Such an incredible team.
Yeah, just
they're showing us why.
Yeah, it's borderline absurd, actually, how good they are. Well, we're going to see a fairly healthy buy here. Double ops coming out from mousesports. But look at the tempo here from Furt. Well, it's staggered by a Molotov. Doesn't want to run through that. But yeah, double ops set up on the side of Mouse. I was about to say they had a fair amount of Molotovs, but they've all gone out already. Oh, it's Chris. The double off of the pop flash from Stiko. Very well done, but SK responds as well.
Stiko gives away his position, and coldzera comes out of the smoke just in time. He could have got that shot, but the player up on long fallen backed off. So now Fur can come through the drop down and catch out Oscar, and Sunny's all that remains. mousesports, they started off with 2 kills, but they've ended with just 1 man, Sunny. The lone Finn has to get back into the site, but Fur has his number. He has the drop down, making a bit of noise, but it doesn't seem like Sunny's realised that. He's still watching the left side as he checks the corner. Fur now knows he's here. Sunny gets the kill, but at the cost of 95 health.
The benefit here is, though, both ops and play from SK. So HP at this matter is completely irrelevant from for Sunny. He's going to pick up the AK as well, gives him that one-tap potential. Oh, spots up nearly downs him as well. But in the end, SK prevail, and they're going to bring us into a 3rd map.
Not too much surprise with that, especially after, you know, seeing how this Veto is going. Cobblestone, a map that we know mousesports aren't, you know, they don't play it the most, I guess you could say.
They're not world beaters on it.
Not at all. But going to Inferno now, you know, Vendetta, I have a lot of questions. You know, I'm sure you have some too, because this is a map that SK has been notoriously inconsistent on, you know, high skill ceiling, but not always able to get victories on this map. Yeah. And, you know, going into this one, where is it going now?
It's really tough to see, honestly. I think, obviously, this is the kind of map where individuals from mousesports side, if they go off, can create an amazing amount of momentum for mousesports. It can also help them to set the pace early. I think if we see a scenario where mousesports get off to, you know, a 5-0 start, regardless of what side really, that could be enough for them to set the tone and get a really good first half, and that might be all they need. SK can't really afford to make the same kind of mistakes they made on Mirage. I think that's going to be too easy to punish for mousesports. So it's really interesting to see. To me, it's going to come down to what kind of SK we see on Inferno. Is it going to be the inconsistent, sloppy SK, or is it going to be, as you said, the high ceiling SK that come to play?
Yeah, I mean, lots of questions here, but one thing we can take into account is Mouse are looking good, you know, coming into this game. It's a couple of sloppy rounds on that second half that kind of loses them the match, or not the match, but the map.
Yep.
But assuming they you know, are a little more consistent on these anti-ecos and anti-force buys, maybe mousesports can clinch a win here over SK. I'm sure it'll be a close matchup no matter what happens. But yeah, I mean, Inferno, a map, I would say, where force buys aren't as easy to get done as you can on Cobble, right? You know, look at the control SK were given on Cobblestone on this T side. They were just able to completely run rampant in terms of getting that drop control. Great force of rotations from mousesports, making them, you know, give up B by sending all that presence up through A long. We saw that one round with the pistols. You know, good map from SK, but yeah, moving to Inferno, a lot of questions. Not really sure how this is going to go.
No, that's well, the exciting part of it as well. In all honesty, going into a third map this is kind of all you can hope for. A very open match in that sense.
Yeah, and I think Stiko here on the screen now, one of the players that really has impressed me so far since joining this roster. He looked great in Hellraisers, but a lot of people questioned his pickup to mousesports. Obviously, a team full of just insane aimers and insane individual players, and a lot of people going, well, Stiko, you know, does he really fit that
bill
team?
Yeah.
Is he an insane individual player? And I'd say he's so far proven to be a great addition to this team, not only in terms of tactically and how he plays and helps out the team, but also he's showing up far more than I expected in terms of individual priorities.
Yeah, I think obviously he doesn't necessarily land in the same category as someone like Sunny or Oscar, for instance, in terms of just raw fragging power, but he's kind of a stabilizing point within the lineup, and I think every team needs that kind of a player. So, I mean, there is a reason why you see mousesports having done better, obviously, with this kind of lineup than in the past before Stiko came in. And even though his presence might not always be felt on the scoreboard, he definitely does his part to make sure that his teammates are successful.
Well, it certainly was felt on the scoreboard this map. 20 kills for the man himself, despite losing that one. Obviously, Fallen and Cold Zero, top of the board as you would expect. Cold even dropped 30 kills in Mirage, where his entire team really weren't able to hold up to the same level. And I mean,
funnily enough, actually, like the majority of Cold Zero's kills came in the first half. I think it was actually quite a bit above 20 before we swapped sides. So you know, definitely see Fallen making the step up in that second half with his op and playing, to be fair, played a pretty vital role in that force buy we saw coming out of them when they pretty much could only afford an op and an M4. On their side, you know, him and Bolts opening up those two frags. That's everything they needed to kind of get a grasp on the game again.
Let's see if they can get a grasp on the game in Inferno. That's our third and final map for this best-of-3 series. We'll be right back after this short break.
LootBet, online esports betting. Dota, CSGO, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and many more. Bet on tournament matches or in-game events while viewing them live. Deposit using money, bitcoins, or even skins. Join LootBet now. Use the code you see here when you deposit and grab your bonus.
Don't know how to build a team from scratch or find good teammates? Dreamteam.gg, the ultimate team building platform. Find and connect with new players, coaches and teams. Manage and monetize your team. Get on fast track to advance from novice to amateur and, if desired, to professional gamer. Join dreamteam.gg today.